Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of my vlog service of JD Who Codes, and me showing you my journey and my path to learning software engineering and development. And I left you off in the last episode with kind of my capstones, my the things I learned, and kind of the culmination of my efforts with Ruby and Ruby on Rails framework. At the time, I did apply for a few jobs, and I did have a few interviews, but they didn't really go very well. And there are a number of reasons for that, which I'll get into later at a later episode, kind of illustrating that at the time I thought I knew something, I mean I kind of did, but I didn't know as much as enough would be hireable, at least at the time. So I kind of during this time I took a little break from programming and engineering and all that, and I focused more on my career at the time at Costco. I ended up becoming a supervisor and part of management, and that was a whole new host of experiences. So around, I want to say 2018 is when I began looking back into the industry and kind of taking things back up again. I would program here and there and still just to play around with it, but didn't have the same drive, I guess, at the time. So I started looking around, and the ecosystem had completely changed. It looked like software engineering, all that had completely been flipped on its head, and there was a new service in town, new sheriff, and that, so to speak, was Node. There was just an explosion of jobs for Node. I kept seeing Angular everywhere, Node, JavaScript, and I had avoided JavaScript for a while because it is a weird language. It's a very weird language. I should probably do an episode, and I probably will at a later date, showing the differences between the languages and what really scared me about JavaScript. But all of a sudden, it was just everywhere. It was this huge thing. It was the hottest trend. There were still Ruby jobs, and Ruby still is popular, and Rails framework is still is popular. But if we're gonna be honest, no one's really newly developing them with them at the same level as it was like 08, 09, heading to 12, 13. So, Node kind of took over, and it took me a while to realize that maybe I should probably, if I wanted to make myself marketable as a self-taught developer, that I should pivot and learn JavaScript, conquer JavaScript, and the Node system. And so at that point, I went to Udemy, and I found this really great set of courses by I forget his name. I'll say his name later. And so through his it's called the Online JavaScript Bootcamp through Udemy. I'll let you know the gentleman's name soon. He's great, awesome, great instructor. Totally helped me conquer my fears with JavaScript. For the most part, because there's still some weird bits in there during the time of these projects I'm going to show you. But he helped me do that, and I built a few applications alongside with him. I'll show you that. I learned how to, take care of my code, how to compartmentalize the application, the file directory system, so to speak. Ruby does a lot of that for you, but it's still kind of confusing. And then from there, we'll go on, and I'll show you some of the applications I built with Node, based off of the principles I learned from the Udemy courses. And they're not much to look at, but at the time I was pretty happy with them. So, without much more further to ado, let's go ahead and talk about these projects. All right, without much further waiting, let me go ahead and show you the projects I worked on. I mentioned the gentleman in question. His name was Andrew Mead, the instructor, and he's an excellent instructor when it comes to Node and JavaScript and just programming in general. He has a very, very fluid, very, very accessible style, and he was just great learning from. But I'll go ahead and I'll show you each project. Two of them were I built along with him during the videos, and the other two I built based off the principles and the precepts I learned from this gentleman. And so the first one I'm going to show you is Scorekeeper. So in here, say you're having a game night or something, you want to keep track of scores, you can just see, I'll put my name. Becky James. I don't know who Becky James is. I don't know why that's there. I'm just going to use it. And so you can just, you can add scores here. It's pretty cool. This is using Node. I believe it's using React. We're going to find out real quick here soon. And then Becky, she negative points. Then she can climb up from the back. And then if she overtakes Jonathan, boom, look at that. A little bit of jQuery there. I believe that's what we use. So then you can delete players and whatnot. And so Scorekeeper, let's see here. Here you go. Yeah, we used Meteor and then React on the front end. see, imports, API, players, collection. This is using Meteor Mongo. I didn't know what the heck I was doing back then with this. But now that I'm looking at it, it just makes a lot more sense now. I was like, oh, this is what I did. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, we're using React. Good old React. I love React. React's a great library. It's so good. Or I call it a framework. It's technically a library, but whatever. App, here we go. When I was writing this stuff, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Yeah, look at that. Pretty cool project. Fun little project. Let's see here. It doesn't really have, we don't have a server. Oh yeah, we do. Oh yeah, for Mongo Meteor, it just starts up. I had some notes here. Anyway, yeah, that's Scorekeeper, and then the other one we built was Scribit, and this one actually has an authentication scheme. Oh, these projects are deployed via Heroku also, all 4 of them. Hire me, please help me. Clear notes, we can make a new note, and then it's unique to the individual. You can make your own account here. You create a new account right there. Have an account, okay. I'm not gonna make one because just in case something broke. But I haven't touched these in it's been a couple years now. Wow, jeez. Hello world. I am Jonathan. Test. No, I just belched there. I'm sorry. There we go. Oh, we can just do that. And then it updates the last one. Like that. I don't know why it wasn't doing that before. So that's Scribit. I just called it Scribit, but in my directory it's called Notes app. Same thing. We're using React and a Meteor backend. And at the time I liked Meteor because it kind of extracted a lot of things away, but I don't really like it anymore because I like using Express, and Express is lightweight and versatile enough for the things I like now and for the way I understand it. Meteor kind of abstracts last. There's nothing wrong with Meteor. Meteor's a nice, really nice. I remember using it, I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. Fixtures. What do we have fixtures there? Here we go. Yeah, is Meteor server publish notes that creates our publish that makes our document, because Meteor uses everything's self-contained. I think even the database in there, you don't really use a legit database as you would with other full stack applications where you patch in the database and then the database sends you the data back. Everything is within it based off of documents you make and you publish. I think that's probably one of the big advantages, now that I'm just thinking about it, of Meteor. Yeah, you see you import them right here, and Meteor just start up. It's lightweight, it's fun. Not lightweight, I wouldn't say that, but it's pretty cool. And then let's go on to the next one, which is Arda. And in here, it's just a weather app. And this one actually gets in touch with Underground Weather Apps API. And based on the location you give it, which is based off of zip code, it pings the API and then returns the data back to you, and then I render it. So put in my current zip code. There we go, Austin, clouds, few clouds. So we have location, conditions, and then like conditions with adjectives. I don't know. I used to be able to have a weather little, pictures of the current weather conditions in the background, but it doesn't seem to be working anymore. That really bums me out. 7872233. I don't know where this is at. Austin. Oh, that's not right. Oh no, 78251. Oh, 78251. San Antonio clouds, scattered clouds. Yeah, and so Arda was very similar to these other apps. I took some of basically what I figured to be the base of what I needed for the application, and I suited it to my own needs. Let's see here, that's client. Okay, and this is where we see Meteor, that methods. Now, when I wrote this, and I wrote this, I legit wrote it. I tried my best to figure this thing out. And it's just funny. Like, asynchronous programming to me was just like this giant nefarious thing. I understood what it was doing, but when I wrote this code and it works, but I don't know what the heck I was doing. And so here's our call. Wow. I wouldn't even write it this way anymore. I use an async await or a promise. I remember struggling with this for so long. It was such a tough thing to use, to wrap your head around. One, because I kept sending the calls out. I'm calling the API, but why am I not having any data being brought in? Why is everything undefined? And you learn from asynchronous programming once you kind of really understand it, which I do now, that when you send the call out, the call goes out, but by the time the data comes back, the JavaScript program has already moved on. So the data comes back, but it can't access it anymore because of the way the event loop works. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah. And so once it passes that part of the program, the data comes back, but it doesn't have nothing to do with it. It's already passed based lexically on how the program's running things. And that's what asynchronous programming does, is it allows you to have the data brought back after it comes back. So your program continues to go on, but once it comes back, that gets put back on the execution stack, essentially the data that you've been waiting for, the callback, and then you can have access to the data and render it, even after the program's passed that part, that execution statement. Really nifty thing about JavaScript. That's what makes it so great with the web. So looking back on this, I don't want this video to be too long. It takes forever to edit, based on the free services. And then the other one is my political app called Amon Polis. And this one makes an API call to Twitter. And I provided several links to the API call looking up certain political individuals. I called it Polis. The codename's Amon Polis. Same thing, Heroku. And then you can look up these certain Twitter accounts for the U.S. government. And so you have the Supreme Court, view last tweet. There we go. The president, which is Trump, Donald J. Trump. There he goes boasting again. Go figure. And then legislative leaders page takes you to another page. I believe I used React Router for this. You have the majority leader, his last tweet. A minority leader, Chuck Schumer. These two. So the way the U.S. government works with Twitter is the positions aren't hard coded. There is no like Twitter for a certain office. It's just that whoever becomes the leader of that prospective chamber or that prospective department basically says, this is my Twitter, this is the official Twitter for, and therefore this is the official Twitter for the office. So at the time you have Paul Ryan here. And then at the other time was Minority Leader Pelosi. Now Pelosi's majority leader and minority leader is who is a minority? McCarthy? No, that's the Senate. Some nobody. It doesn't matter. And so that's what you have going on right now. And so that's Polis. Same thing with this one. I made a few API calls because I thought they were really cool. I liked working with APIs and getting all sorts of data that you can manipulate. And Twitter's API is pretty neat. It's fairly broad based. It's the wild west, to be honest with you, when it comes to this sort of stuff. Let's see here. Yeah. And then let me show you the code. Hamiltonian, no. Oh, there it is. Same thing with this one. This time I put the method, and I used the library called Future because I was having so much trouble with asynchronous programming. Oh my god! You see, there's setting my headers. Wow, this is so. And here's a React router for the different links. Actually, I'm gonna go to the about page. Contact us. And then we have the file directory split up based on the pages, .js. Yeah. There's anything too, excuse me, jeez. Yeah, and here are our calls, meteor.call, tweet now, which is in the server file. Yeah, meteor.call, because Meteor, it's just kind of weird looking at it now. Tweet now, yeah. So from the main page, here's the function name, tweet now. Click, okay, yeah, that's based off the name of the item, the name of the element on the DOM. And then tweet now is right here. And then based on the public figure, that's the handle we use, and then we send the data off. We send the request off to Twitter. It was pretty fun, pretty neat little project. These were all really fun. It was really cool. I felt I had a strong grasp on the concepts at the time. And I kind of did, but there's still a lot more to learn, for sure. So yeah, that's the end of our video for episode 3. Next video, I'm going to show y'all, talk about my experience and finally committing to coding full time, becoming a professional, and wanting to really hone my craft with the industry. At that point, I decided to go ahead and go to Hack Reactor. At that point, it was I decided to commit to Hack Reactor, and then I'll be showing you all the stuff I worked on in there. Some of the, I can't show you the coding challenges, but I can show you all the projects we worked on and some of the other stuff that really solidified the concepts and the things you need to know when it comes to software engineering and development. And it was well worth it. It was great. And looking back on my code now, I'm like, oh geez, what was I doing? Even after I wrote some of this code for these projects, and I went back to look at them like a month or two later, it was hard for me to understand what I was doing. The fact that I can go back and I look at it now, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. That's just astounding. It really is. It's a testament to the program. And I'm excited to show you what we did, what we built collaboratively. It was great. It was a fun time. I'm looking forward to that. So until then, y'all take care of yourselves. My name is Jonathan. I forgot to say it. That's my new intro. My name is Jonathan. My friends call me JD. That's why it's called JD Who Codes. And so I'll see y'all guys on the other side. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.